Welcome back to Clickbait Confessions, the place where secrets don't stay buried and the truth always finds a way to surface. Tonight's stories, they're not for the soft-hearted. We're talking about women who look like loving wives on the outside, but behind closed doors, their own children felt like enemies. Love, obsession, resentment, and the kind of karma that doesn't miss. Some people say motherhood is natural, but what happens when it isn't? When the love stops at the husband and the kids become collateral damage. Get comfortable or don't, because once you hear these confessions, you might not look at perfect families the same ever again. Let's get into it. Story 1. Carla. I loved my husband, just not what came with him. Death. I swear if you asked anyone about Carla, they'd say she was the perfect wife, always dressed nice, always smiling next to her husband Marcus like she hit the lottery. And honestly, she did love that man. You could see it in the way she watched him, like he hung the moon. But her kids? That was a different story. Carla had 2 boys and a girl, and from the outside, everything looked normal. But inside that house, she moved like they were burdens she couldn't shake. She fed them, clothed them, did the bare minimum. But there was no warmth, no softness, just irritation. The oldest son once told a teacher, "My mom loves my dad more than she likes us." That wasn't even an exaggeration. Carla used to complain to her friends that motherhood ruined her life, that she only stayed because Marcus wanted a family. She'd say things like, "If it was just me and him, we'd be perfect." Over time, that resentment turned into neglect, missed doctor visits, ignored calls from school, locking herself in the bedroom with Marcus while the kids fended for themselves. Marcus started noticing. They argued a lot. One night, things got ugly. The kids had gotten into something in the kitchen while Carla was having her peacetime, and when Marcus came home to chaos, he snapped, not at the kids, but at her. He told her straight, "You're free per lo norte." That broke something in Carla, not in a wake-up way, in a bitter, angry way. She started pulling away from everyone, even Marcus, drinking more, going out, leaving the kids alone longer. And then came the night everything ended. Carla went out, drunk, reckless, speeding like nothing mattered. She didn't make it home. Single car crash, gone instantly. At the funeral, people cried about what a loving wife she was. But her kids, they stood there, quiet, not crying, not angry, just empty. And Marcus, he looked like a man realizing too late that love for one person doesn't excuse neglect of everyone else. That was Carla's karma. She built her whole identity around one person and lost everything else before she even realized it. Story 2. Armani. He was my world. They were just in it. Life in prison. Armani was the type of woman who worshipped her husband. Not loved, worshipped. Everything revolved around Darius, his needs, his moods, his reputation. If he was happy, she was good. If he wasn't, everybody suffered, including her kids. She had 2 daughters, both under 10. Sweet girls. Quiet. Always trying to stay out the way because they already knew. Mama didn't play about Darius. If he complained about noise, they got yelled at. If he said the house wasn't clean, they got punished. If Eva hinted they were too much, Armani turned cold instantly. It got worse when Darius started getting into trouble. Street money, shady people, late nights. Armani stayed 10 toes behind him, no matter what. Then one night everything spiraled. Darius got into a situation. Money owed, threats made. He came home angry, paranoid, pacing. The kids were scared, crying, asking questions. That was enough to set him off. He told Armani, "Control them." And instead of protecting her daughters, She snapped on them hard. Neighbors later said they heard yelling, things breaking, kids screaming. Police were called. What they walked into changed everything. The girls weren't dead, but they were hurt enough that it crossed a line nobody could ignore. CPS, detectives, charges stacked up quick. And here's the wild part. Armani never blamed Darius. Even in court, she kept saying, "I was just trying to keep my husband calm." That didn't save her. She got life. Darius disappeared before the trial even started. The girls, they survived, but they never went back to her. New names, new lives, far away from the woman who chose a man over them every single time. Armani sits in prison now, still writing letters to Darius that never get answered. That's her karma. She gave everything to a man who couldn't even stay to face the consequences with her. Story 3. Shirley, a mother by title, not by heart. Gone into hiding forever. Shirley was slick with it. Unlike Carla and Armani, she knew how to fake it. On social media, supermom, matching outfits, birthday parties, captions about, "My babies mean everything." In real life, she couldn't stand them. 3 kids, all by her husband Leon, who she genuinely loved. That was the only real thing about her, her obsession with him. But motherhood? She treated it like a role she had to perform, not something she felt. Behind closed doors, she was emotionally cold, dismissive, sometimes cruel in quiet ways, belittling, ignoring, making them feel like inconveniences. As the kids got older, they started speaking up, especially the middle child. That one wasn't scared of her. That's when things started unraveling. Arguments turned into threats. Shirley started getting paranoid that her kids would ruin her life or expose how she really was. So she did something calculated. She started building a narrative, telling friends, neighbors, even teachers that her kids were troubled, lying, out of control, planting seeds before anything could come out. But the truth has a way of surfacing. One of the kids recorded her during an argument. Everything, the insults, the threats, the way she talked about them like they were nothing. That recording spread fast within family circles and eventually got to Leon. And that man, he flipped, left her immediately, took the kids, cut her off completely. That's when Shirley panicked, because without Leon, she had nothing. No image, no control, no shield. Then came the investigation, emotional abuse claims, possible fraud, because she'd been collecting benefits tied to those troubled children, stories she told. Before things could fully catch up to her, she young. Why Shadram Wang. Saran vanished, closed accounts, changed numbers, left the state. To this day, nobody knows exactly where she is. But here's the thing, running doesn't mean winning. She lost her husband, lost her kids, lost her identity. Living somewhere under a different name, always watching over her shoulder, knowing one mistake could bring everything crashing down. That's Shirley's karma. She spent years pretending to be a mother. Now, she lives a life where she can never be one again.